et qui sensua eterni,
Orda nostra solum tibi,
orda nostra solum tibi,
et qui sensua eterni.
Hello, everybody. General Romulus here, back from a great Thanksgiving break. Although there was a little bit of a hiccup Thursday morning, went on an adventure, and then, boom, caught some kind of a thing. Probably brought it with me from the ancient Roman catacombs. Okay, before the vacation, before the holiday break, I mentioned that I was going to get into more detail regarding the crypto crazy world and how to enhance returns using something from there without increasing your risk. That's right, it's like free money. Absolutely. Are you excited about this? I know I am. Okay, disclaimer, General Romulus is not your stockbroker, financial advisor, and is not offering you financial, trading, investing advice of any kind. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. Okay, so let's get into it. Here is the Bitcoin. We will cover that at the end in just a few minutes. This is going to be a shorter video. To start off, I want to get into the broad market, the S&P 500. And next week, by the way, it's Thursday, so we'll talk probably Monday. I will go into more detail about why I go into so much detail about the S&P 500 as opposed to the millions of other investment products and ideas that we can discuss. So several weeks ago, we drew these famous yellow lines, this one down here first, and we said, hey, if it breaks here decisively, that could give the bears more weapons to bring the S&P 500 down, perhaps to the 200-day moving average, maybe even lower. And a decisive break did not happen. As a matter of fact, a very cool bounce, and hopefully all of you who watched this video series a few weeks ago did exactly this, a bounce that provided an excellent return over the incredibly short term. Boom, here you go. Then, following that, we posted this. If it breaks this yellow line here, further upside is entirely possible, and that's where we are. Seasonally speaking, it is December. December is a strong month, typically. November, April, the two strongest. However, since this Trump second term, seasonality has been brought into question. This is dating back, by the way, 45 years, and in some cases even longer. But April, again, the strongest of the 12 months, but this previous April really got rocked with the tariff situation. And then September is the weakest month on average. However, this September was quite strong. November is also really strong. This November was flat. So we have a lot of mixed signals coming on from seasonality. But if we do revert to the means, the average, the ordinary, and a couple of off months are not enough to totally upset the chariot there for the longer term picture. Let's go with it. So seasonally speaking, the bulls should have the advantage here. Okay, in addition, the Federal Reserve, they will cut rates again on Wednesday, December 10th. It's coming up in only a few more trading days. They've ended their quantitative tightening cycle, which has been going on for 3.5 years. So we have two liquidity-adding factors, major liquidity-adding factors to the markets that will also give power to the bulls. And price action. Again, we didn't break decisively below this yellow line, and now we've come above the 50-day average and this upper barrier. And so we do believe, I believe, that the S&P 500 is more poised to not only attack, but surpass these late October 2025 highs, maybe by the end of this month, maybe into January, but sometime in the very near term. Okay, back to the crypto world. I didn't want to make this a long video. However, I want to show you. My belief is the S&P 500 going back for its eternity, almost 100 years. 1926 is when it was started. So, wow, 100-year anniversary coming up for the, well, I said I'd talk more about that next week, and I will. Okay, so Bitcoin, S&P 500 has averaged 11%, 11.5% annualized rate of returns going back to its inception, including the dividends. Over the next 20 years, I believe it'll maintain that rate. The Bitcoin, the crypto crazies are telling us, hey, $1 million, 10 million, 20 million, whatever. That rate of return would obviously eclipse 11%. I'm a lot more conservative, but I do believe it will beat the S&P. I believe that it'll return over the next 20 years 16, 17, 18%, which is great. A very strong rate of return. I mean, Warren Buffett going back to his inception in 66, I believe, is 20%. So if you can get anywhere in the neighborhood, powerful, especially for a total passive investment, put your money in and let it sit. There's a way to enhance that return, however. Remember, there is an addition of a lot of exchange-traded funds into the crypto crazy world in the past year and a half. This one in particular is, I own this, by the way, full disclosure, in my retirement accounts. I like this one because it pays out every month. Now, there are others like this that pay out a dividend every month. And by the way, they're not generating their dividends from economic activity. In other words, producing goods and services and selling goods and services. They are getting them through staking, which is kind of like money markets, but in the crypto world. They're getting them through options and futures trading within their ETF structure, but they pay out every month. This one's monster payouts. But I like BITO because of its other magic that it offers. And that is that it trades weekly options. That's right, weekly options. Now, keep in mind, dividends in and of themselves do not enhance your rate of return. For example, if a stock is trading at $10, you buy it at 10, they give you a 10% dividend. Well, you didn't make 10%. Your total value is $10. You paid $10. They gave you $1. But your stock now trades at 9. So you still have $10 in value. It's the same thing here. It's no different here. So how do you get that boost? Well, BITO trades weekly options. So every Monday morning, I sell covered calls that expire the following Friday, only 5 days later. I sell them for a much higher exercise price. I don't look for a whole lot of return. I'm not trying to get called away or exercised on this particular option. I just want to have the free money. And so they put a couple of pennies, 12 cents, 13 cents, 15 cents, depending on that week's volatility. And that's just free money. Okay, that's how you do it. You sell the weekly calls on this guy. This is the only crypto crazy ETF that I know of that does offer weekly options. Again, EETF, which is an Ethereum ETF, this guy pays much higher dividend percentages. I mean, you see $3, $3.96, almost $4, $3.40. The most recent one, that's an incredible amount of money on a $42 ETF or $42 stock. This offers monthly options. So what I would do with this one is I would just wait for the Monday prior to that Friday expiration on that once a month opportunity and sell it then, or maybe the week before to get a higher rate of return. So that's it, everybody. We said we'd talk about it. We did. And by the way, if you want more information about this, just email me directly, romulusteaches@yahoo.com. Again, romulusteaches@yahoo.com. Okay, excited to be with you again. We'll tear into the value and importance, history, perhaps a little bit of the S&P 500 next week. And let's get on our chariots and march on. General Romulus, back to ancient Rome.